Hello, everybody. I'm Dr. Nick Riviera.
No, I'm not. I'm just quoting The Simpsons because I feel like quoting The Simpsons today. I was just reading the oral history of the monorail episode, which I did not know until now. Today I learned that the monorail episode was written by a young Conan O'Brien, who sold three scripts, three plots of The Simpsons in one pitch meeting for that one. At any rate, hello everybody. Adam Savage here in my cave answering questions from tested patrons. And today's question comes from Chris Scott. Thank you, Chris, for submitting this question. Chris says, my father always said, son, never try to repair a television or a garage door yourself. LOL. So my question to you, is there anything you personally consider too complex or dangerous to attempt a repair? Even with a do not try this at home disclaimer. That's a good one. That's a good one. I like that question. First of all, I have repaired a garage door. They're not that difficult. I have also repaired a television, but the televisions I grew up with were cathode ray tubes, which is effectively a linear particle accelerator with a giant vacuum tube. And electron gun sprays electrons on the screen of this vacuum-sealed cathode ray tube and creates television. Yeah, it's totally amazing. Television, by the way, invented by Philo Farnsworth here in Berkeley, California. And if I remember the story correctly, his brother taught himself glass blowing just so he could reliably blow the tubes for Philo to make the first television. But a television that I grew up with, one of the CRT televisions, I played around with them all the time and used them in all sorts of different sculptures, little tiny 4 or 5 inch televisions, some bigger ones. And the thing is that one of the parts of making it work is that there's a huge amount of capacitance, I think, in the outer frame of the screen. There's basically a conductive strip around the outer edge of a CRT television, cathode ray tube television, that is effectively a large capacitor. And a capacitor is a method for storing some power. And usually it's between thin films of metal that are very close to each other. I don't know quite how it works on the outside of a television, but one of the things that a capacitor does with its stored power is if you touch its two leads, it dumps that power. So I used to hear about a prank that electrical engineers used to play with each other, which is they'd take a they'd take a capacitor, sharpen the ends, charge it up and stick it in the cushion of someone's seat. So when they sat down, they got an electrical shock. This is a terrible idea, and I don't think that's funny at all. That is a terrible thing to do to a human being, and I don't advise you to do it, and I'm not suggesting at all that anyone should try that. Please don't. Pranking is mostly cruel. However, when you're repairing one of those televisions, if you touch the outside edge and you haven't properly grounded it, you will get the shock of your life. And the shock feels like getting hit by a cow fence, which I have also been shocked by. But you asked me a question and I haven't even gotten to the answer yet. And the answer, there is something I don't want to repair. When we bought our house here in the Mission District of San Francisco more than a decade ago, it had one of its previous owners was a couple of wealthy Google people, and they made some delightful improvements to the house. And one of them is they put in a built-in espresso machine. Now, this is not something I would have ever put in my house because it's this giant chrome Electra single-station espresso machine. We stared at it for 4 months before hiring a barista from Ritual Coffee to come and spend a couple of hours one afternoon showing us the ropes. And we've been using it ever since. But occasionally we have to get it fixed because it's full of all these valves and very hot things. And I understand how it works. I get the boiler and the steam and the way it goes. But there's no way I want to try and repair steam valves in a pressurized system thing. I get that I could probably pull this thing out and figure out what was wrong with it. I just don't want to. I don't like pressurized systems. I don't like stuff that gets super hot because its failure mode can be awful. So for the espresso machine, which is currently broken, I'm going to hire a professional to fix it, as I have done, I think, twice before. Every time we get it fixed, by the way, same cost. It costs the same amount every single time. $275. I know. Why don't you just buy another coffee machine? I get it. It's ridiculous. That's why we haven't fixed it, because, well, the reason it's broken right now is we used the hell out of it for the first 5 months of COVID. We didn't go to Ritual Coffee. We just bought their beans, and I made coffee every morning. But then when we started getting back into going out in the world, it felt very stabilizing for me to see the crew at Ritual again. And they said the same thing. Hey, it's good to see you regular. So I don't have a burning need to have it fixed right now. And I don't need to spend $275, but I guarantee you that's what it's going to cost. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I don't want to. I mean, I don't work on my car much anymore. I pay a professional to do that. I can do the work on my car, but I actually, the main reason I don't do my work on my car is that I don't have a space to put it. I have worked outside the shop here on my car, but when you're working on the street, as I have done my whole life, you got to take all your tools in every time you want to take a piss, and that's ridiculous. That's not any way to go fix your car. But that's not like a fear of the repair. That's more just like the comfort of being an adult human who'd rather go home than be on the street lying under their car. It's just par for the course. Like, get a professional to repair it. It's still really important to learn how to repair your own car, and it's still like a critical thing in my estimation. And maybe that's something that's going to go away when cars are all electric. I don't know. That more and more they become black boxes and harder to fix. But there are YouTube channels devoted to hacking Teslas. Now I'm just rambling. Chris Scott, thank you so much for your answer. I'm sorry to give such a fancy pants answer as my Electra espresso machine is the thing I won't repair, but there it is. I can't change reality. Thank you so much for the awesome question, Chris. Thank you, tested patrons in general. Keep submitting your questions, and I will keep answering them. Thank you. See you guys next time.